Let's go to Ross Greenwood now. He has some...
Yeah, I was just going to say, Ash, it's interesting to note the key takeaways from the governor's statement today. So effectively what they're saying is that people should temper their expectations for significant numbers of interest rate cuts from here. They've put out new forecasts for inflation. What they're basically saying is that if monetary policy is eased too greatly, it basically says so that monetary policy will be restrictive and will remain so after this reduction in the cash rate. But it then also says that if monetary policy interest rates are basically cut too far, then disinflation could stall and the inflation could end up above the target band. Now, what they're effectively saying is that they acknowledge in the future that progress has been made in regards to reducing inflation, but they're still cautious about the outlook. So here they're trying to basically temper people's expectations that we're really on the way down, because you don't want to be like America, where you suddenly find yourself having to potentially either stall those interest rate cuts or indeed raise interest rates in the future because everybody starts spending and inflation takes off in our community again. That's the big issue, and especially when you've got a 4% unemployment rate in Australia, very full employment, the wages claims are going to keep on going, and that's going to challenge any government now or in the future.
And to that, Ash, I just want to say that there had been hope in the government, hope against hope, I guess, that you could get a second rate cut. April 1st, April Fool's Day is the next meeting. That is a new board. That's after the changes of Jim Chalmers, so you'd have a more friendly board. And then if the Prime Minister called the election March 2nd, bang, you've got an interest rate cut, a second one just before the election. From what Ross has told us there, that seems rather unlikely. It could be just a one-off, which Ross has pointed out before is pretty uncharacteristic, but you can see there's some pressure on the RBA to give people some relief, but not wanting to go further.
Just picking up on that.
Business report,
I was going to say one last little thing for you, Ash, as we go. One little telltale on what this means in the markets. The Australian dollar has picked up. Now, normally, if we thought there were a lot of interest rate cuts coming from the statement of the Reserve Bank, the dollar would have fallen and fallen significantly. But what you can see is the reaction here. Look at the market has fallen. So, in other words, effectively, what they're saying is that they're now not banking on as many interest rate cuts as previously they were. If you go and have a look at the Australian dollar, it's actually risen since this decision. And so that again says don't bank on as many interest rate cuts in the future, because that is what the Reserve Bank is now telling us all.
And that says election sooner rather than later to me, Ash, because why would you wait for May if this is the only glimmer of good news you're going to get? You might get some good news in a budget where you hand out some cost of living relief, but you can hand that out in a campaign anyway. I reckon the other market that's firm today is the market around an April 5 election.